Well, good afternoon again. This is TJ here in the woodshed. I'm guessing you would best call this maybe a shop update sort of thing. And I want to show you some new stuff I've got for the shop. So we'll begin with all the negativities here, I guess you would call them. Perhaps it is more than simply weather conditions, but I've found through the extreme damp conditions, weather, humidity, high humidities, that even in this small shop with a heater running and a fan running, I was having a really difficult time getting CA glue to set up. I do not mind using accelerator, but I do find it adds a little difficulty to a CA finish, at least for me it does. It never really leaves the surface as smooth as it could have been without using the accelerator. So I tried to shy away from using the accelerator, and I found myself, once the first coat was applied, maybe the second coat would be okay, but by the third coat of CA glue, I was waiting upwards of 10 minutes to get it to dry. My first conclusion was my CA was old, and I don't know what old is by CA standards. If you're going by my standards, my CA ought to be good for the next 50 years. I did jump to the conclusion, as I said a little bit ago, that maybe my CA glue was getting old, so I ordered a brand new bottle. In fact, I ordered two brand new bottles of thin CA, and had the same results. After the second coat or so, the glue just simply took forever to dry. Didn't slow me down from doing anything. I simply laid up wood blanks and started building pens and things out of acrylic, so nothing lost, let's put it that way. So I'll put that out there, and anybody that watches this has something else to add to it, let me know. I'm always looking to learn here. See, second thing. I see a lot on YouTube about people building dust collectors, and I used to not think very much about it, just simply because I never paid attention to the dust part of it. I have a small 10-inch fan that sits above the wood lathe, and when I'm sanding on a project on the lathe, I turn the fan on so the dust is blown away from me. And about every 2 weeks, I do a shop cleanup. I move everything away from the walls, and I got a big shop vac hooked to a dust deputy down here that I use for the bandsaw, and the dust in places that you normally wouldn't have occasion to go, like behind a bin or a container of some kind on the floor, behind the dust deputy, for instance. There was an awful lot of fine dust gathering. And I guess the lights came on that there's a reason they have those dust collectors in shops. It keeps that dust from collecting. So, I am working on an idea here to build a small dust collector for this shop. The shop is not very big. It's only 10 by 12. So I don't have a lot of air volume to move, and it won't take a great deal to move it, and I think I can remove 80% of my problem with furnace filters, small furnace filters. So I'm going to build an air box and put a fan on the backside, make it draw through the filters, through the box, and hopefully catch a lot of that dust. My point is, there's a lot to be said for those dust collectors. If you don't have one and dust is a problem, you may want to look into one. They do a job that is necessary, because you don't want breathing that stuff. So again, just let me say, dust collectors are a very important part of woodworking. If you're working inside a shop and you're doing a lot of finish work, you might want to look into one real soon. Okay, all that done. New additions. I got some new things here, not because I needed them necessarily, but, well, they look good on camera, and they have turned out well. I will say that. So let me swing this camera around down here to the bench, and we'll go over these real quick. The first thing I got here is I sent off and I got a, this happens to be from PSI, and it's a turn between centers, tailstock and headstock. And it's a relatively simple setup. As you can see, these are both number 2, my number 2 Morse taper. They make these number 1 and number 2. And it's simply, in the headstock, there's just a number 2 Morse taper with this 1/4 inch shank on it that your bushings fit over. It's the same size as a small pen mandrel, or what they call an A pen mandrel. Then the other one is the same thing with this same short mandrel end on it, and this one is set in ball bearings. So I got these, and I saw where people were saying, well, it's turn between center, there's less chatter, there's less this, less that, and I'm thinking, well, you know, I use a mandrel that has a mandrel saver, so I don't stack bushings till I get to the end of the mandrel. I slide the mandrel saver up to where I can use the least amount of the mandrel possible to turn with, for the reason of keeping vibration down. So I had a project here I was doing for a guy, and it was a single barrel pen, and I don't even remember what it was. And I thought, well, I'll give me a chance to try this. So I unwrapped it. In fact, I had it out of the box. I had it a couple weeks, never used it. I got this out of the box, unwrapped it, cleaned it up, and took denatured alcohol and cleaned the shanks up and everything. Put it in the lathe, got my blank ready, and chucked it up between the centers. Now, is it the difference between day and night, this over a regular pen mandrel? Well, no. Now, before I go on, I want you to understand, I'm not endorsing any products, I'm not promoting any products, I'm simply expressing my experiences. And if you all have had different experiences, well, share them with me, and maybe I'm missing something. But I am not by any means making condemnation on anything or patting anybody on the back. I'm just sharing my experiences with you. What I found is, this indeed does run exceptionally smooth. It does allow you to turn the pen blank, and it does allow you to do that without any squealing or chatter, no matter what kind of tool you're using. You can go from a roughing gouge to a spindle gouge to a skew, and nothing matters. You don't notice any vibration coming through the mandrel shaft, from the mandrel shaft at all. So, is there a drawback? Well, as a matter of fact, there is. This will only do a single barrel at a time. So if you got a pen with an upper and a lower, you're stuck with doing it twice. Other than that, I think it's a great setup. Do I use it? Yes, I do. Have I thrown my pen mandrel away? No, I haven't. Don't plan to. So that's my experience with that. I think it's a fine product. There's other companies that make them. I don't even think PSI makes these. They probably market them for somebody else. And this just happened to come from PSI. And I'm not promoting them either. Second thing is I heard about these mini lathe chisels, and I thought, yeah, right. And I went out and bought a set of them, and there they are. There's 5 of them in here. There's a skew and a little 1/8 inch, gouge, and a 3/16 inch parting tool, a 1/4 inch round nose scraper, and a 1/4 inch bowl gouge. And they're, you know, they got fairly long blades on them. I don't know, they're probably 5-inch blades, about a 10-inch handle. And I kind of bought them on a whim, I guess you would call it, or whatever it is. Impulse, I guess, would be a better word. I saw them and I thought, well, they're kind of cool. I think I'll get those. So I picked these up. I got them on sale, got them off of Amazon. And they sat around here for quite a little spell. I never used them. And I was doing a little pillbox thing a while back, and I thought, you know, a good chance to try these out. So I got them out, and I worked with them a little while. Now, I've had very good luck working with these things. The only thing I would say is, when you pick up a spindle gouge, let me put my finger up there to give you some idea. When you get a spindle gouge that's that big, you have got to have some patience and take your time with what you're doing. This is not a set you're going to go out and production turn bowls with. It is for detail work, and they work extremely well. I've cut them in maple. I've used them in maple. I've used them in walnut. I've used them in some alder I had here. I've used them in some poplar. And it doesn't seem to matter the wood type. They work the same. You would think they would catch and do all kinds of things, but if you use them with the same respect and the same amount of care and attention to what you're doing as you do the bigger tools, they do the same job, only on a lesser scale. So, would I recommend these to somebody that got their first lathe? No. I wouldn't even recommend them for somebody that turns pens, but I make a bunch of little things, little boxes and little pill boxes and toothpick boxes and all kinds of little intricate stuff, and these work out really well for me for that. So that's it on those. In the process of doing little work, I have found that my lathe, although it's not big, it's a Delta, and it's 17 inches between centers. It's got 10-inch swing over the bed, so it's called a MIDI. It's not a mini, and it's not a lathe with its own stand. Very happy I have it, and I'm very pleased with the lathe. However, it's that kind of in-between size. It's too little for some things, and when you dress it up to do what its capacity will do, it's too big for other things. So in my search for remedy, I came across this little thing here, and this is a Barracuda 3, I believe it is called, and it is a tiny little chuck, about 3.5 inches around, and it came in this molded box. It's got 4 sets of jaws with it, pin jaws, scroll jaws, and some long reach jaws, an adapter to go to a 1x16 thread. This comes 1 and 8 like an ordinary tailstock and a regular size lathe. Comes with its own Allen wrench, and it comes with this small but effective woodworm screw that fits in the chuck. You don't have to have something special to run it with. I've used this quite a bit since I've had it, and all I can tell you is it is well made. It will hold on to anything you can put in it. In fact, there is a bowl around here somewhere, a very old bowl that somebody handed me to refinish, and I gripped onto the bottom of it a little too hard and cranked on this T-handle that you tighten the chuck down with, and I popped the spigot right off the bottom of it. Now, again, it has specific uses. For me, I wouldn't put a 6-inch bowl or an 8-inch bowl in that chuck. But when I'm sitting here turning tiny little chess pieces that are the size of my thumb, this works great. Works absolutely tremendously great. I can put the little woodworm screw in this chuck. Very little of that worm screw sticks out. I can put a little spacer on there, put a hole in the bottom of the chess piece, thread it onto this, turn the chess piece. When I take it off, clean the bottom up and cover it with felt, and we're good to go. So, I'm going to shut up because this is going to go on forever. Those are the things I've got and the observations I've made. And yes, we're having another rainy, snowy day, and just want to say you all work at something. Be creative and be careful with what you do. Remember, you only have 10 fingers and you're not going to grow a new one. So God bless, and see you soon.